In this video, I'm going to talk about sensation and perception, a couple of views on it, and how we test it. So at this point in your college careers, you should know what sensation is, what perception is. Sensation is the information coming in through your sensory receptors. It's the specific data entering your nervous system. And perception is what you do with that. It's how you interpret and organize those sensations. So these are two distinct things, but they always go together. When we think about sensation and perception, one proposal on how we perceive the world, what we do with our environment, is Gibson's ecological view. And this says that people directly perceive information in the world around them. And perception brings people in contact with the environment in order to interact with it and adapt to it. Basically, perception drives actions, and when you see things, you're immediately thinking about what you can do with them and how they should, or how you should act with them. This is connected with the idea of affordances, which are opportunities for interaction offered by objects that fit within our capabilities to perform activities. So I'll write down these definitions and then I'll give you a couple of examples. An example of an affordance would be my son. You see this a lot with little kids, the idea of affordances. He uses whatever he can to build ladders so he can climb onto the couch. So he will drag over books, he will try to stand on stuffed animals. Those would be affordances. It's interacting with the environment, with objects that fits into the capabilities. He is not going to use a book to learn information in the same way we would, because he is not at that stage yet of ability. So he's going to use a book as a step instead. That's the idea of affordances. So when you are looking at your environment, you're always thinking, what can I do with this thing? What could it be for me? How could I interact with this? You're always thinking about what you can do with it, how you can act with whatever you see in your environment. There are a couple of ways that we test perception, specifically in infants, since that's a stage where it can be really hard to figure out what's going on. You can't really ask a baby, how are you perceiving this right now? One way is through the habituation-dishabituation method, and the other way is through high amplitude sucking. For habituation-dishabituation, this is how much attention kids spend focused on something. If you become habituated to something, you realize that it's an unchanging part of your environment, so you don't need to spend as much time looking at it. You sort of don't care anymore because it's something you know, it's something you recognize. For example, this occurs all the time for everyone. For example, if you've ever been in a class and all of a sudden the AC shuts off, and that's when you notice that the AC was on the whole time. When the AC was on and continually running, you became habituated to it. You stopped noticing it. You stopped perceiving it because it was this unchanging stimuli in your environment. And then when the AC gets shut off, you become dishabituated. You know there's a change, so the habituation is gone. You can study this in young children as well. If you present the same stimuli to a kid over and over, they won't spend as long looking at it because it's something they already know. That's how you know that they are perceiving it, because they don't spend as long looking at it. And then if you switch it up somehow, they will spend longer looking at it. They'll think, hey, this is something different, something has changed, and that's that dishabituation part. And so there are several ways that you can use this with infants. One good thing is that you don't have to give your kid all their toys all the time. You can mix up what toys you present to them every few weeks to keep habituation from staying. Another example would be the mobile I had for my son when he was a baby. It had different parts to it. It had different sensory images on the bottom, starting very simple like bullseyes or squiggly lines, and then becoming more complex like faces or fishes. And then every few weeks I would switch what picture was at the bottom for him to look at. So there was always something new, and it prevented that habituation from forming. In high amplitude sucking, this is used more for auditory stimuli. Basically, sounds are played when the baby sucks. So the sucking on the pacifier, the special pacifier, is what makes the sounds come. When the kid gets used to a sound, he'll stop sucking. He's like, I don't need to hear this anymore. I'm not going to suck to hear it because it's something I already know. When the sound is changed and the child realizes that, all of a sudden he's going to start sucking on that pacifier more because this is something new. Dishabituation has occurred. So these are methods that are used to study infant perception. Their responses, you can also use like the startle response as well. But that is perception in infants specifically.